Welcome! It's another episode of that MGB, and there might be a spoiler in this image. Enjoy. And before we go berserk, working out how the car is the other way round in my workshop, can you check you're subscribed? And if not, why on earth not? If you fancy buying me a pint, then there's a PayPal me link scrolling down here. Not all funds are spent on pints. If you want to just support the channel, then please say, to support the magnificent work that you do on this channel. And if you fancy contacting me, then it's churchhouseclassics, and that's all one word, at gmail.com. I do get back to every single email, but there's only one of me, so please be patient. Anyway, enjoy the video. Distributor built up. Nice new distributor doctor points and condenser all wired in. Put a new earth strap on there as well. And I really want to test it. So, dead easy really. I've done it a few times before. It's not difficult. So connect up an earth to the body of the distributor. Connect up an earth to the spark tester there. And the positive side of the ignition coil, connect onto the battery and rotate we're getting nothing. What's happened? What has happened? Maybe we've not got good earth to the distributor body. Let's go down there and actually onto the earth strap itself. There we go. Bad earth to the distributor body. So we're getting a nice big healthy spark there, and you can see that's about getting on for a centimetre. I'm rotating very, very, very slowly. Right, next. Make the circuit safe. Let's put the rotor arm on. And then the distributor cap. We'll test each of these leads. I think I'll just double check. We are happy with the overall setup on this thing. Right, nice strip of steel. Rested the distributor on it. Rested each of the spark plugs on it. Connected all the spark plugs up. So when I connect up the supply now and rotate the distributor, I should get each plug should turn. There we are. So this one, this one, this one, this one. You can see them. 2, 3, 4. Right, so we know that's working. It's not arcing across now, which is good. So we know the distributor is actually working, the cap is working, the rotor's working. So this can go back in the engine now, and I can continue to diagnose my fault here with poor spark. Right, so let me get on with popping that back in, and then once that's back in, I can confirm I'm getting a spark, because this, so far, the distributor is positive. Plugged the distributor back in, it went back in at top dead centre, and I am now going to, so I've got the blue, whatever it was, blah, the fucking thing called Bluetronic. Ignition coil is plugged in. Got my spark tester down there. I've got my wire that goes down to the starter solenoid here. Ignition is on, and we're going to see if we get a spark now. Yeah, fucking beautiful spark. I'll take you down there so you can actually see. Right, so that's a gorgeous spark. Let's put the other ignition coil on. You can come down here. Ignition off. And we have got here positive. Goes to there. Negative. Goes to there. ignition lead goes to there, coil can sit in there. Now let's see what happens. Ignition back on. Are we getting anything? Yeah, we're getting a spark now. So I don't know what happened. Something odd happened with this white wire, which comes basically from the back of the ignition switch. I think what I'll do is I am going to mount the ignition coil back onto the bulkhead down here, upside down of course. I'm going to leave the start wire there for a second. I've got various wires come off in various locations, put the plugs back in again. Back end, it's on the ground. It is. Right, okay, couple of things. First and foremost, I've managed to confirm that the clutch is in fact freed from the flywheel, which I'm actually astounded by, bearing in mind how long this is sat for, with the clutch pressure plate holding the clutch disc down. Now, I don't know what sort of state it's going to be in once it starts running, but all I effectively did, not going to do it now because we're back on the ground. I should have demonstrated while I was in it. Back end off the ground, handbrake on, clutch down, engage starter in reverse gear. And this engine turned fine. Release the clutch and the back wheels turned and the engine was turning over slower. So it would appear clutch hydraulics are working, which is fabulous. As you can see, all of the distributor cap and everything is back in. I've wired up the fuel pump so that now, because we're getting down towards that point, so when I turn the ignition on, you've got the fuel pump. I've managed to loosen the gear stick up somewhat. It is not entirely happy, but when I go into reverse now, I've got one reverse light and one broken reverse light. That can go off now, fuel pump, because it's just going to be sucking shite out of the tank. Now I did drain pretty much everything that was in the tank out, and it's not pushing anything up to the filter, so it hasn't really sucked anything in. So I've been quite successful then in draining the majority of the tank down. It needs fresh fuel. Before I put fresh fuel in there, I've got to sort this fuel filler cap out, which is the next thing I'm going to do, because I've ordered a new one. I'm going to have to find a way of either drilling the lock or cutting the lock to get it off. I ran a compression check earlier on as well, another thing I didn't video. And compression check. So cylinder 1, 210 psi, 200 psi, 195 psi, 200 psi. All dry, all cold, obviously, because the engine's not run up. That's quite encouraging too. And just in case you're wondering, the Renault passed its MOT. You just saw that in my diary then. Renault MOT, midday, yes. Passed with a load of advisories. My son's car has done square root of nothing for the last year. I drove it down to Portsmouth a couple of weeks ago. Yes, struggling with stale fuel. It's got 4 rusty coil springs. And there was something else he put on the advisories as well. I can't remember what it was now. But, oh yeah, brake inefficiency at the front. It's not balanced. It needs using. Right. So we are getting much closer to this thing actually starting up. Yesy McYes face. Right, okay, so I don't really need the power on anymore. So I can disconnect the power. The seat runners both need hoovering out, but we'll sort that out. Horn is working beautifully, so the badge can go back on that. Yeah. I think we're kind of running out of things that are going to distract us from actually getting this thing started. there's no vacuum advance pipe, I've had to order another one of those because it was snapped. Right, let's do this fuel filler cap next because I'm bored with looking at it. So I need something to bung the fuel tank up. Oh look, there's an emergency cap there. I should do it. It still fucking hulks of horrible old bloody varnishy rusty petrol in here. I might need a towel in there, that's not quite big enough. Right, let's see what we can do with this. One last go with the key, and then we might have to go a bit berserk with it. The actual neck, I really need to keep the neck. It's an expensive item. So I don't quite understand how we're going to get it off, but we'll give it a go. Number plate lights. I had to take them off the bumper in the end. They were just a flipping shambles. I mean, that has very clearly shorted out against something there. And this is the one that wasn't working. So I have double checked the loom in the boot. There's two connectors. There's one there and there's one here. Right here. And there's a couple of dodgy bullets on that as well, but we can fix these things. It's fairly straightforward. So all I'm really going to do, I think, is route them back in, put decent bullet connectors on them, replace the melted wire. It's a good one. Yeah, I've cleaned all the faces up, cleaned all the earth sections up, and the bulbs work across my battery. Yeah. Fun, isn't it? So having rebuilt the carburetors, having checked compressions, sorted the cooling system out and rebuilt the ignition, checked there was a spark, primed the fuel system and set up a jerry can, actually a go-kart fuel can, because the fuel tank needs to come out because it's full of rust. We're about ready to see if we can start the car. Now the owner, Chris, was desperate, and I can understand why, to see if this car would start, be there for the first start. And I've been hanging on for a few days or so, but it's not been holding me up because I've been doing other stuff. But here's Chris and his daughter who came over to see the car. Does it start? Watch. Everything gets recorded on that. My little DJR's mode. Right, you can get in.
Really? Are you there to...
You can go.
Can you?
Yeah.
No guarantees, Chris, but we'll give it a go.
No, I know.
Check
Oh,
the menu.
fuck, I need to my back out.
You in? You can't even get in it anymore. You haven't started this since 2001.
I can't reach the pedals.
Right, ignition on, because I have already primed the fuel system, so it should. Right, you're in neutral. Right, that's good. Now crank it. Let's give it a little bit of choke. Okay, we've got a bit of choke. Go on, and again. Right, 1 second. Give it some encouragement.
What did you get yourself on that bit?
Yeah, I did. All right on that bit.
Carb spray. That's got a bit of gum to it. Right, try again. hold it. That's right, just hold it there. We're going to now into first gear. Right, that is. Right, that's third. Get into first. Is the clutch right down? Yeah. I think that is. Yeah, that was first. There we are. First, right, now clutch down.
Yeah.
Now with the clutch up. Yes, it moves.
It moves.
It moves! Yes! Turn it off then. I'm going to come outside because we're going to die of carbon monoxide poisoning. I need to free that gear stick up though. Right, we'll take these two out of here because we know there's carbon monoxide. It starts! Right, we'll take these two out of here because they'll calm down.
Oh, yes, it did.
What you say there? No. Yeah, it's on.
And that thing out there,
The cap.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, oh, yeah, that'll be all right. That's just the vent plug. Just stops it venting fuel while we're sitting here. Right. So select first gear first. Good. Start it up. Right. Well, hard round, hard round, hard round. That'll do. Straight, 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 straight. And straight. Go this way. That'll do. Whoa. Right, okay. And out. So go out and onto the road, turn right. Right, see if you can select reverse now. Proper back. No, okay, engine off. Select reverse. Start engine. Clutch down. Right, now back. Now slowly, slowly, slowly. We're not going to crash, Chris. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. That should be fine. Right, now, see if you can get into first. No, engine off. We've just got a clutch drag. First gear. no, you've gone into reverse. So come down into second, then straight up. That's it first. Other lock. Let's do this in one move. Two. And straight in. And here. That'll do. Nicely. And off. Yay!
Hey!
Bit of pre-ignition. Happy?
Very.
Good. Light at the end of the tunnel. And it's not an oncoming freight train.
Yeah.
Right, better not leave the keys in it now.
No.
We know he goes. So how much that? So we think. So it's about half a gallon went in there. It's about a quarter of a gallon left. But then the system was empty, so it's had to prime all the way through to the carbs, fill all those up.
Okay.
Right, that can go off. Right, fuel tank needs to come out. As you've seen, it starts, it turns around, it drives, it stops. I've worked out what the horrible noise was at the front, and that was just me being silly because I took the cooling fan off, which is down there, and of course then the pulley for the water pump is rotating. So that doesn't matter, I'll soon fix that. Stop that horrible noise at the front end. But fuel tank needs to come out, and it's secured by 4 fixings down each side. 2 appear to be bolts which are welded to the boot floor. 1, 2, 3. That was it. 3, maybe 4. I don't know. I only saw 3 on this side. So 3, and then we've then got these horrible captive nuts, which are all rusted in solid. So I've been getting the wire brush to clean them up. Let's go down and have a look. I might need the torch. Right, here you can see the 2 clips on the right hand side, which I've managed to undo. So they're there. Tank is currently supported on a block of wood. And then on the other side, we've got even less room, and there you can see the 2 captive bolts, which is going to be easy to access from the side, but they're not easy to get to. They really are not. And also they're very grubby and rusted up. So there's 2 bolts welded to the boot floor, front and back, and then 2 with captive nuts in the middle. Right, I'm not going to video me taking them out because that's just silly. But working from the side, you just shuffle around over here. Working from the side, you can actually see them. So it's a case of tidying it up such that I can get a set of mole grips on it. Once I've got the mole grips on it, then I can use the dugger gun on the top side. Well, that's that bastard out. It's not original to the car. It looks to have been fitted at some point. These are the captive fixings I told you about. Normally they work quite well, like spire clips, and you just capture a square nut in there and wind them in and wind them out. However, I think a couple of decades of road detritus, etc., has made them somewhat resistant. Now there's probably about half a gallon of fuel in there still, which always amuses me when even at empty, even when the pump is sucking nothing out of the tank, it's still got half a gallon in it. Anyway, that's easy enough. I'll get rid of that. Then we need to work out what we're going to do with this. Overall, it doesn't look bad. It's not leaking. I think we're going to treat this to a slosh treatment and a paint on the outside, and put it back together again. Not quite sure what's happening with that fuel line, but it's not really a huge issue, is it? That's come off there as well now. So while I was pulling it off, yeah, we might replace that fuel line, make something a bit more robust. But yes, so fuel tank is off, and then you'll be keen to find out what it looks like underneath. Well, the boot floor's all right. I've seen worse. again, I'll spray lots of anti-corrosion wax up there before it all goes back up into place. It needs it. The whole of the underside of this car has got a coating, a very, very light coating of surface rust, just where it's sat for so very long. But it would have been, of course, a lot worse had it been on the road for the last 21 years. Because we'd be looking at a pile of bloody floor scrapings about now, wouldn't we? Right, okay, well, I'm going to carry on emptying that tank out, cleaning things up. I'm pleased that came out. One fixing there, that one right there. That was a bastard to get out. Because the nuts, it was a nut and bolt rather than the capsule fixing, thank goodness. But then I had to just drill it out from the top. There was no other way of getting it out. Drill, drill, drill. The remains of the bolt is down here somewhere, I expect. Which, there it is. That's what I was dealing with. It wasn't going to come out. No, 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 no. You can go in that container there. Doesn't even want to do that properly. Right, let's get this this tank cleaned out and ready for a slosh. This is the sender that was in the tank. I've seen a lot tidier. I'm pretty sure I have, and the float's full of fuel as well. Now in here somewhere is a load of ganky old fuel which I'm going to tip out, so I think I might treat the tank in addition to the cleaning up and so forth. Treat the tank to a new fuel gauge sender and a sealing ring and a sealing gasket, because that is all looking a bit perilous really, isn't it? Let's go over to the disco bonnet. I'll check the resistance on it, but that is just shite. Horrible. Ugh. Right, let's put these bits in the bits. That'll do nicely. That can go down there. And I'm going to brush that shit off the disco bonnet in case it eats what's left of my paint away. Right, okie dokie. Now, I need really to get the drain plug out of this and also to empty the remains of the fuel out, which I'm going to do two-handed, I'm afraid, folks. Well, this is proving to be somewhat amusing. I've got the hose pipe over here. I've been rinsing the tank out. That's the fuel that came out. That's the sediment I've got at the bottom of the tank so far, just by rinsing it and filtering it and degreasing it. And then if we look inside the tank, there we are. Can you see the bottom of the tank down here? Now, in fact, if I could just get a screwdriver, I've got a chisel here, I can see if I can retrieve. It's the bottom of the tank has got like about ½ centimetre of that on it. So I'm going to try a degrease solution and see if that comes off. It'd be helpful to find out if that's magnetic. If that's magnetic, I think the tank's a goner, because there'll be that much rust in there. It'll be a little bit past it, I would wager. No, it's not magnetic. So it is literally just sediment, crap, from the fuel and probably the original paint that was inside the tank.